Good morning, and welcome in everybody to Go Live Together, your morning cruise and travel discussion, and sometimes shenanigans, including the eye candy up here, Mr. Eddie Lugo Studios. Good morning, fellas. What's up?
Nothing. I just wanted to preface today's question of the day. As you can see, it's listed as to be announced. It's the concept of it is too long to squeeze into 50 characters. So, of course, it's related to yesterday's bridge collapse in Baltimore. So the question of the day is, in that situation, the embarkation. So basically, it's if the cruise line changed your embarkation port to a port that was significantly further away, would you just, adapt and still go, or would you cancel?
That's a good question. Let us know in the chat. For those of you that are here for the replay, first of all, thank you guys so much for coming in to especially yesterday's special edition of Go Live Together. We really appreciate your ongoing support for the show. And today is we're going back to regularly scheduled programming today. Yesterday was just, we had to go ahead and report on all of that as it was evolving and happening. But yeah, welcome back to our regularly scheduled programming. If you're here for the replay, please indicate in the comments by saying you're here for the replay. But for those of you that are here right now, good morning and welcome in. Yo, Brooklyn in the house, Eddie Lugo Studios is first up. Next up in the chat is Tinkerbell. Good morning. And she says, good morning, everyone. Have a fantastic day. 10 days till cruise day.
So it's like a personal problem.
That means it's 11 for me.
Yep. Mike and Rihanna's Adventures. Good morning.
Allied reinforcements have arrived from the north.
And yes, they are reminding us that it is indeed Holy Week. So celebrate accordingly. It says, good morning, everyone, and happy hump day. In 2 days, we will commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus and his death on Good Friday. And I know that it is a special day. And speaking of special days, Leonard Family Fun came through with the National Day of the Day. Good morning, Tanisha. Thank you for this list.
Yes.
Happy National Scribble Day.
What?
That one's for you, man. You got to start scribbling. Make some more art for the people.
Okay, that's how I got myself a channel.
Yes.
My great niece says to me, do a scribble here, and then let me film it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? She goes, don't worry. You see. I'm like, okay.
Yep. That is a good idea, man. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos with time-lapse videos of people drawing stuff, and I watch it. I really do. The next one up on the list is National Little Red Wagon Day.
Oh, I sold a lot of those Toys.
Radio
flyers.
National Spanish Paella Day.
Oh, paella. Yum.
And National Joe Day.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, I'm going to take that as a cup of coffee. So,
yes.
National Joe Day, cup of Joe Day. I don't know what other kind of Joe there could be. Celebrate because it is Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Mine's empty. Been long gone.
This is my second cup so far. So,
yep. Next up in the chat is Traveling with Tinkerbell from her other channel. And Jennifer from Embarkation Nation has made it in. Good morning.
What's up?
Cruising with Keith in the house. What's up?
What's up?
Kathy Mills.
What's up?
That's right.
Hola, Kathy.
And Will G has just made it in. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ahoy there. Captain Billy J. Travels has made it in the house. Hello.
Welcome.
Okay, and we got an answer here. Cruising with Keith says, if I am forced to fly to Virginia, I'd rather fly to Miami. I might try and change the cruise, but do the same dates. Leonard Family Fun has an answer so far. Port change, depending on how far, but providing it does not have a significant impact on travel getting there, I'll go. It's coming back. That day is always sad, regardless of the port.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
See, that's gonna be our thing in June. We decided not to fly because of the extra stuff that I have, and it's just gonna be it was gonna be averaging about the same, like parking and everything there, driving and flying. So might as well we're gonna drive. We'll be okay driving there because we leave on Friday, and cruise is not until Sunday. Now coming back, Alice has to take a day off on Monday. So because once we get back, we gotta hop in the car and hit the road.
Yep.
And we're talking 18 hours coming back to Georgia. So in on the one driving.
Yep.
So either she takes a day off or we drive straight and I drop her off at work Monday morning. So figure that out.
Hit up a Buc-ee's on the way back and you should be good. Controversial Cruising has made it in. Good morning.
Wawa, Mr. Wawa.
And
Waiting a Wawa, and there's one in Baltimore. I'm stopping in to get some coffee and a breakfast there.
speaking of Baltimore, Mike and Rihanna says Carnival announced it has moved all its operations from Baltimore to Norfolk, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scott Smith, good morning, driving and listening.
Good morning.
And Captain Billy J says Eddie knows how to dribble.
What the hell does he know?
I don't know.
It's something else.
Oh, Z's in the house. Z's Gaming and Home Theater Channel. Good morning, content creators. Happy hump day. Getting ready to play some CSR2 racing all day today. I got to look at some new camera for the eclipse coming up in the great state of
Texas.
That's right, baby. There is a path of totality going straight through the middle of the state. And you know what they're running out of? Out at these locations, people are driving to the middle of the state. You know what they're running out of? Porta potties. They are. The porta potties are in short supply, to say the very least. So I guess the people with ears perked up, and now there's more porta potties on the way to Central Texas to accommodate everybody. So yeah. And that's another question for the chat. Anybody else going to the path of totality that way they can see the eclipse? That is a good question.
So Texas is gonna be full of crap today.
Oh, okay. Leonard Family Fun National Joe Day can be celebrated with a cup of Joe, but best by celebrating all the names of Joe, like Joseph and Josephine. That'll work.
So here's the only thing I have to say about the eclipse. You can only look at it through glasses that would protect your eyes. And do you really want to trust your ability to see today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life to a pair of cardboard glasses that you bought off of Amazon or some other, or at Walmart, that were mass produced in a place like China?
Well, I would rather make the one that they taught us in school. I was in school for an eclipse, and they taught us how to make something out of cardboard. I would need the lesson again because that was long ago. But yeah, you could look through a piece of cardboard with a mirror in it and have a pretty good view of it. I would trust that more than the other one. Jennifer from Embarkation Nation has answered the question. For us, it would depend on how far they moved it. If they moved from Galveston to New Orleans, yes, we would probably do it. I concur with that.
Well, I can just, so let me just jump. So since people are answering it already, let me just jump at it. Okay. And I'll just say this, in the case of Carnival, they're going to be, permanently using Norfolk, right? Not only is Norfolk a nightmare port compared to Baltimore, okay, but it's almost a 4-hour. It's about 3.5 to 3 hours and 45 minutes further south there is 0 parking versus in Baltimore, there's massive amount of parking and you park literally right at the ship. I mean, I've been on the ship, out on my balcony and able to look down and see my car. Right. So, I mean, it's a completely different experience as far as that goes. So it's like 3.5 to, 3 hours and 45 minutes further away, and it's not as convenient. In the case of Royal Caribbean, it's almost the same. It's about, so the closest port that Royal Caribbean can use, now they have not made the official announcement, not that I've seen yet. Carnival has made the official announcement. They are going to temporarily divert all cruises to Norfolk until the Topsco River is at least clear for them to sail back up the channel. So in any event, the only other option for Royal Caribbean would be Bayonne or Cape Liberty, which is also about 3.5 hours away from Baltimore. So, I mean, it's not super far, but it's not super close either. I mean, I think I probably agree with Keith. If I had the choice between, Norfolk or Miami, I would choose Miami. So
Right. Yeah, Miami really, really does have their stuff together. I was super impressed as to how smooth everything was. And Miss Tanisha noticed that somebody was missing from the panel today, so you get some confetti. Yes, you get confetti. Thank you for noticing. She is at a parent-teacher conference at the school.
I didn't get a form.
You didn't get a form? Not a request form? Well,
Nope.
okay. Well, yeah, write her, and I'm pretty sure that she will
but wasn't Cheryl with us on a day that she wasn't supposed to be?
Don't be defending her right now, okay?
I know, right?
Like, didn't she get comp time for that or whatever?
No. She got some time for a day before that she wasn't.
Right. That was a makeup.
There's no double jeopardy here, right?
Yeah, it was a makeup day. Facebook user has made it in the house. Good morning, all from the cruise. Nuts. Have a great day. Good morning. That's right. Oh, okay. Captain Billy J says Cheryl is playing hooky.
So Cap is involved in this one.
Yep. And Controversial Cruising says, so do we get her on Friday now? Well, that's up to her union rep as to whether or not she needs
definitely
to
Friday night. She will be there Friday night.
Okay.
We'll see about Friday morning.
Yep. Tanisha says, Eddie, you killing me. Get off Cheryl.
That's Jeremy's problem, not mine.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Cruising with Keith says we should play that TV show intro. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego and put Cheryl? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, she's off and about. She's off and about somewhere.
Better her than me, I'll tell you.
Well, we are all caught up in the chat today, and unfortunately, we don't have a guest in town today. They are all over the place. However, we do have this view right here, and it's just overcast. It's but I just whenever you come down to Galveston, notice how many trash cans are just right here on this little stretch of beach. Don't trash where we splash. Okay, guys, there is a trash can at least every 10, if not every 20 feet. Walk to the trash can, put your trash in there, inside the trash can. If that one's full, move on to the next one. Or just put it in your cooler and dump it at your house at the end of the day, whenever you're done fishing or whatever. Please don't trash where we splash. This is where we live. How would you like it if we came to your neighborhood and just started dumping candy wrappers and stuff all over the neighborhood? You wouldn't like it. So don't do it to us. If you are coming into town, we are waking up to 57 degrees Fahrenheit with 77% humidity and mostly cloudy. If you are coming into town today, we are sitting at 66 degrees for a high, 53% humidity and cloudy with 16-mile-an-hour winds. Ugh, it's just gross. And then, where are all of the ships, you ask? I'm glad you asked. At sea, we got the Disney Magic, the Regal Princess, and the Voyager of the Seas. In Costa Maya is the Carnival Breeze and the Carnival Jubilee. In Half Moon Cay, the Carnival Dream is over there. And in Cozumel, the Norwegian Prima. And then finally, the Harmony of the Seas is in Roatan. And that's where all of our friends are today. And let me see who else has made it in. Oh, wow. Replace Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Cheryl Boucher's Day Off. Okay. That'll work. Thank you for that, Cappy. And speaking of funny things, I believe that it is now time for Jeremy Goes Bananas. You know, that music is fun. It really is. Welcome to Jeremy Goes Bananas, the segment of the show where I attempt to read what happened on this day in history. And today is Wednesday, March 27th. And on this day in history in 1351, as part of the struggle between Charles of Blois, supported by the King of France, and John of Montfort, backed by the King of England, over succession to the Duchy of Brittany, their knights waged the Battle of the 30 near Ploermel.
Bananas.
Yes, thank you. In 1625, upon the death of James I, Charles I ascended the throne of Great Britain and Ireland. In 1814, at the Battle of Horseshoe Bend, in the Creek War, Andrew Jackson and his 3,000 troops defeated the Creek Indians, slaughtering more than 800 warriors and imprisoning 500 women and children. In 1886, German-American architect Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, whose rectilinear forms crafted in the elegant simplicity epitomized the international style of architecture, was born. In 1915, American domestic Mary Mallon, better known as Typhoid Mary, was placed under a quarantine in the North Brother Island, New York City, that lasted until her death in 1938. A typhoid carrier, she was allegedly responsible for multiple outbreaks of typhoid fever.
And you are still not able to go to that island. That island is still closed to public or any other type of private watercraft. So.
Nice. In 1927, Mstislav
Bananas.
Rostropovich, one of the best-known cellists of the 20th century and music director of the National Symphony Orchestra in Washington, D.C. from 1977 to 1994, was born in Azerbaijan. In 1958, Nikita
Bananas.
Khrushchev placed Nikolai Bulganin as premier of the Soviet Union. In 1963, American director and screenwriter Quentin Tarantino, whose films, including Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, are noted for their stylized violence, razor-sharp dialogue, and fascination with film and pop culture, was born. In 1964, South Central Alaska was struck by a 9.2 magnitude earthquake that was the strongest quake ever registered in the United States. In 1975, construction began on the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, spanning 800 miles. The oil pipeline cost $8 billion and was completed in 1977. In 1977, two airplanes, a Pan Am 747 and a KLM 747, collided on a runway in the Canary Islands, killing 582. In 1998, the drug Viagra from the pharmaceutical company Pfizer was approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for use in treating erectile dysfunction.
And Jeremy is a added promoter of it.
Oh, okay. In 2002, American comedian Milton Berle, who is a popular entertainer in the early days of television in the United States, came to be known as Mr. Television, died at the age of 93. And finally, in 2020, North Macedonia became the 30th country to join NATO. And that will do it for On This Day in History. Okay, PK Adventure Travels has made it in. Hello, welcome in.
So,
And- Yeah, PK says, morning all from Florida. Big storm heading this way this afternoon. Lots of wind and rain. Please be careful. If you don't have to go out, stay at home.
I mean, the storm and rain in Florida is kind of like snow in Antarctica, right?
Right.
I mean,
Cruising on the high seas
and
and
travel.
travel has made it in. Hello, welcome in. And that will do it for our. Okay. Here we go. Captain Billy J says, I thought ED stood for Eddie dysfunction. That'll work. All right. So we are all caught up in the chat, which means that it is now time for Scott to bring us the cruise and travel industry news.
With Scott and Viagra.
Carnival changes home port after bridge collapse. Who knew, right? So it says here, while the situation is developing in Baltimore with the collapsed bridge, along with search and rescue operations, Carnival Cruise Lines has moved its port of operations to Norfolk, Virginia. This comes as all traffic through the port has been halted. Our thoughts remain with the impacted families, first responders in Baltimore, said Christine Duffy, Carnival Cruise Line president. We appreciate the pledge made by President Biden today to dedicate all available resources to reopen Baltimore Harbor to marine traffic as soon as possible. Well, as those plans are finalized, we will update our future cruise guests on when we will return home to Baltimore. But in the meantime, we appreciate the quick response and support from the officials in Norfolk. This impacts guests of the Spirit class Carnival Legend, including those on upcoming sailings. The current sailing, which departed Baltimore on March 24th, will no longer return to the home port as scheduled, and the vessel will now return to Norfolk instead on Sunday, March 31st. The 7-night Bahamas itinerary features all the original calls, including Bimini on March 27th and Freeport on March 29th. When the Carnival Legend docks in Norfolk, the cruise line will provide passengers with a complimentary bus back to the Port of Baltimore, which is approximately 3 hours and 50 minutes via bus. Like Carnival Legend, Carnival Pride also will be impacted by the aftermath of the bridge collapse. Carnival Pride, one of the oldest ships in the fleet, is scheduled to sail to Baltimore in April after it concludes a series of Western Caribbean cruises from Tampa. Beginning on April 7th, the Carnival Pride will embark on a 14-night Southern Caribbean sailing, visiting Aruba, Barbados, Antigua, and St. Martin before arriving in Baltimore on April 21st, but now will be arriving in Norfolk. Given the severity of the damage, it's unclear when the Baltimore cruise port will reopen to cruise traffic, but it could be weeks or months. As of the timeline of the publication, Carnival has not committed on whether Carnival Pride's future sailings will be rerouted at this time. In the early mornings, so, of course, you understand in the early morning yesterday, the a tanker freighter hit the one of the pilings. I guess it had some power issues, and then so therefore propulsion issues. It hit one of the pilings of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, completely causing the entire span of the bridge to collapse and blocking the entire shipping channel in both directions of the Patapsco River, which supplies the Port of Baltimore. So we'll see what happens with that. Royal Caribbean has not announced what their diversion port is going to be. However, that will more than likely be Bayonne, New Jersey, or Cape Liberty, also about 3.5 hours away. So moving on, Carnival Cruise Line orders a 5th XL class cruise ship. So it says here, Carnival Corporation operators of 9 global brands signed a contract with Germany's Meyer Werft shipyard to construct a 5th XL class vessel for Carnival Cruise Lines, scheduled to enter service in 2028. The ship, as of yet not unnamed, is the 2nd XL class new build to be announced in just over a month. In mid-February of 2024, Carnival Corporation revealed it signed an agreement with the same shipyard to build the brand's 4th ship in the class. The sisters existing in XL class ships are Mardi Gras, Celebration, and Jubilee. And the 4th in the series is due to launch in 2027. Carnival's XL class fleet will soon be a quintet of these very popular ships that provide outstanding guest amenities and tremendous operating efficiencies. Since the introduction of Mardi Gras in 2021 and the subsequent expansion into Celebration in 2022 and Jubilee in 2023, these XL class ships are driving excitement, demand, and strong guest satisfaction, says Carnival Cruise Line President Christine Duffy. So the XL class ship, with the gross tonnage of 180,000 and powered by LNG, liquefied natural gas, pioneered new onboard spaces activities such as Jeremy's favorite, the first roller coaster at sea on Mardi Gras. Ships in the class accommodate 6,400 guests and 1,800 crew. The newly announced 5th in the class will be the 11th XL class ship across Carnival Cruise Lines and all the different lines fleets. The other XL class ships exist in the P&O line. So Carnival Corporation's brand reports robust financials for 2023, with revenues beating expectations and spurring future growth. In the third quarter of last year, the company posted total revenues of just over $6 billion. Does everybody remember during the shutdown, they were everybody was like, oh, the poor cruise lines, they're going to, Christine Duffy's going to be standing in a bread line somewhere or whatever. She may have to apply for food stamps. I mean, it was so pathetic the way people were behaving about it or whatever. But anyway, so they posted revenues of just over $6 billion and a net income of $1.07 billion. Remember, that's a net income, right? Which includes any debt payments that they might have made as a result of the money they borrowed during the shutdown. So Carnival Cruise Lines continues to perform at an outstanding level, and we're focused on adding capacity across the company where it aligns with demand and our position in the marketplace. It goes on here to say that we are proud of the role of the XL class from Meyer Werft and Meyer Turku, has played in contributing to the success of the Carnival Corporation for many years now. We look forward to continuing this successful story together. So that's pretty exciting. I hope they permanently station one in New York.
And that's the way the news goes.
That's right. And Cruising on the High Seas and Travel is saying Lucky is resting today after a scary moment last night. I believe it was reported to me that Lucky got attacked. So everybody keep Rob's dog in your prayers as he heals up.
Speaking of dogs, I got bit by a dog yesterday.
Yeah?
I did. So luckily it didn't make it through my boot. So
well, that'll work. Welcome to the neighborhood. Can't stop walking but love mowing and cruising has made it in. Hello, welcome in.
Good morning.
Yep, and Leonard Family Fun. I have the same question. Where are they going to put it? That is the burning question.
I mean, if they permanently or even on a long-term basis station an XL class ship in New York, I am going to be on a lot more Carnival cruises.
Yep. Captain Billy J says, I bit a dog yesterday, a hot dog. That'll work. He takes the Frank Day very seriously. All right. So we're caught up in the chat again. So the question of the day was a little complicated, and it is if the cruise line moves your embarkation port either in the middle of a cruise or a cruise you got coming up.
I'm saying if they move the embarkation port to a significant distance away,
right?
Would you just adapt and go, or would you cancel?
Okay, so let's let Eddie go. Eddie, if they move your cruise, you're still apt to go?
As long as with ahead of time, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like tomorrow morning and it change, it's a little difficult. I'm gonna have to go no matter what because there's nothing. I might be getting to a loss more than a gain. But I will probably go. Me and Alice, we plan where we're going within a driving distance. So I would say 99% of the whole thing, I will definitely drive to it. So, so we'll see. But hopefully we had some changes done to our cruises where they got canceled, not changed. One time, Alice was flying out of Jacksonville and her flight got canceled, and we drove to Orlando. We made it to Orlando within 2 hours from Jacksonville for her next flight because she needed to be in New York for Christmas Eve. So yeah, I will definitely drive.
Yep. Okay. Well, for me, I know that if one of our Galveston cruises, for instance, has to be moved to either New Orleans or Mobile, I would drive it. I would definitely still go. But if they're looking at maybe Tampa or, I would probably fly to Miami too, but somewhere that's a little unreachable from car for us, then we would probably move our cruise to a different date. Where we can have more time to plan, flights and the babysitter, we got kids to consider and all of that good stuff, and travel time between the two ports has to also be taken into consideration as well. So yes, with plenty of notice, we would probably still go and just rework the way that we get to the port, and on the way back as well. I have a story about this. There was a hurricane and my dad and stepmom were on a cruise, and they had to bus them from New Orleans to Galveston or from, I think it was Mobile to New Orleans. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, they had to bust the whole entire ship because they were avoiding running into a hurricane. And if you're sailing from the Gulf Coast, you always run into that situation where you may have to be bussed. You know, a hurricane could come through during your cruise, and while the cruise ship goes around, they go around and bring you somewhere else. So yeah, always be prepared for that. Good question.
Okay, so but for me, okay, I would likely cancel, especially being intimately familiar with both of the alternative ports. And I would definitely cancel if I was on a Carnival cruise. And if you don't believe me, just go check out that video.
Yes.
Okay. Because this video is all about sailing from Norfolk. And sailing from Norfolk is a nightmare. Yes. An absolute nightmare. And you couldn't pay me to ever do it again. Ever.
All right. I knew where you were going with that. Cruising on the high seas and travel says, I have the answer, and it's slap a big star on the front of the ship. I know that's right. Midlife Travels has made it in. Hello. Welcome in.
Good morning.
And, oh, wow. Okay. Leonard Family Fun says, I hate animal abuse, but animals, please do not come up attacking me because I respect your boundaries. Doing so won't end well for you. I will not negotiate being attacked or abused by an animal, period. I know that's right.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to beat that dog down the next time it tries to bite me.
I think it was another dog that attacked Lucky. That's what I was, I think. I'm not sure. I still got to check on that. Captain has a question to the answer. An answer to the question. It says the captain would try to adapt and cruise if given enough time to plan it out. If no time to plan, I would change the cruise for another cruise. Tanisha says, me and Bobby are good with driving. Patience with flying has worn thin. We'll fly for business, but vacation we will drive. We drive to Galveston from Alabama and we'll be driving to Miami.
Yeah, I'd be like that one guy or from that scene in The Happening, M. Night Shyamalan's movie Happening. You know, the guy who started the riding mower up and then went and laid down in front of it. I would do that before I would sail from Norfolk.
Midlife Travel says we would still go and make necessary arrangements. Captain Billy J says Mobile to New Orleans isn't bad, only an hour and a half drive or so. Traveling with Tinkerbell says with time, I would make arrangements. Not sure about the last minute. It all depends on how far I will have to drive. And yeah, that's me too.
Yeah, so in this case, Norfolk, like I said, just under 4 hours. And from and Baltimore to Bayonne is a little bit less time, about 3 hours, 3 hours, 30 minutes, only because it's mostly I-95 between the two areas. So you can make up, you can make good time on that. So yeah.
Yep. Leonard Family Fun says never cruised out of Norfolk, but whatever the pay is offered to Scott, I'll take it. Yep. R.I.P. Fido or whatever its name is. PK Adventure Travel says for us, it really depends on the port. It is changed too, and how far. But in the end, we will be on a cruise, and that beats any day on land in the old dreary daily work.
Not if you got to get on that cruise in Norfolk.
Right. All right. The astute tourist has made it in. Hello. What's up, Jimmy?
Good morning.
Yes. You just tuned into the morning show where we're talking about cruising and all things travel related. And yes, today had some severe bananas. I watched Jimmy's show this morning, and he had to struggle through the same bananas I did. I'm like, oh wow, I know. I knew you were going to have to push the button a lot today, for sure. So, speaking of pushing buttons and stuff, Eddie, I know you over there quiet and everything, but it is time for you to talk, good sir. Where are we going in 215 days?
Well, I tell you, my man, we're going to Tampa, Florida, to hop on that ship right there, the Carnival Paradise, October 28th this year. And there's a couple cabins left. Another one was booked yesterday. Thank you, Muncie. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And also, you want to get in it, put your deposit down, get in touch with Bruce at Ocean to Ocean Travel so you could get your cabin today. We got a couple left. So come along. All of us will be there. Traveling with Tinkerbell, Ross from our Orange Con blog, the Cruise Nuts will be there too. James Catanese and his wife, June and Brady. Also, Scott from Controversial Cruising will be there too. Bruce and Cindy will be there too. So it's a big group going on this one. It's a smaller ship, older ship, but we're going to have a good time. We're going to go to Key West, Montego Bay, and Grand Cayman, leaving on Monday. Me and Alice will be there Saturday. So come on down. We'll meet you down there and go hang out and do some damage around Tampa. Get ourselves in trouble. And then we'll be hopping on that cruise ship and going away for our business. So you want to come along? Check out this video.
Who's Cruise 2024. Hosted by Eddie Lugo Studios, out of Tampa, Florida. Port of calls, Key West, Florida. Grand Cayman Island. Montego Bay, Jamaica. Aboard the Carnival Paradise. Join us for this great cruise, October 28th to November 3rd, 2024. Contact Bruce at ocean2oceantravel.com.
Okay, Jimmy, just to clear up what was being said at the time, is Scott has an affinity for not cruising out of Norfolk. And if you ever caught his video, Carnival Magic, I would never cruise the Carnival Magic again. If you saw that video, you would appreciate why. And it was, I believe, a 6-hour total time from.
No, it was over 7 hours.
Yeah, from parking to on the ship,
and then it was almost as bad afterwards.
Right.
And then luckily, I was not one of the people, but many people who were on that sailing not only went through all that nightmare twice, but then at the end of it. And they finally did get off the ship and got on a bus and were taken to their car, only to discover that their car was broken into, and some of them even that their car was totaled and could not be driven because the security guard who obviously was patrolling at some point, was patrolling the parking lot. Mm-hmm. He hit the gas instead of the brake, and he plowed through a whole line of cars and totaled those cars, and those cars couldn't be operated. And of course, nobody said anything to anybody about it. Yep. And nobody took any responsibility for it. And at the end of the day, a month later, the city government claimed sovereign immunity and didn't pay anybody for any of the damages. Of course, the cruise line, we all parked exactly where Carnival told us we had to park. They said, this is where you park, and we'll provide a bus for you over to the terminal. So everybody parked where the cruise line told them to park. And then, of course, the cruise line was like, oh, not our fault. It's not our responsibility. So, of course, the cruise line didn't do anything about it. It was just a complete, total, absolute nightmare experience. And there's absolutely no way I would ever do it again, especially not for the itineraries being offered from Norfolk, which is, the same from Baltimore. 7 days to the Bahamas. Not doing it.
Pier Runners is in the house. What is up, Tracy?
Good morning.
He said it would depend on how far away the embarkation port is, but we would probably adjust. Yeah, I know. we have plenty of places to choose from here on the Gulf Coast. And we would adjust too. I mean, even if it is Miami, I love sailing out of Miami. I really do. I would do it again and again and again. Port Canaveral, I don't know, because I still haven't done GoPort. I'm going to do GoPort next time, though. Next time we go out of Port Canaveral, for sure.
Yeah, my wife and I were just talking about this whole October thing, right? Because she and I are going to be on MSC in the yacht club, and then we're going to be spending a week in Orlando before Booze Cruise 2.0.
Yep.
And she asked me, where did I rent the car from? And I said, from Orlando International. So she was like, so we'll be needing to use GoPort to get from Port Canaveral to the airport to pick up the rental car.
Yep. And yeah, the astute tourist says 7 hours is rough. It is.
And it was not only just 7 hours, right? It was 7 hours of people standing in a big long line in a parking lot miles away in the because it was in the summer. So it was in the baking, southeastern Virginia sun. Now, I didn't mind that, but a lot of other people did.
Right.
And it was insane. It was absolutely insane. People were sitting in there. First of all, it took me almost 3 hours just to get into the parking lot. And then once I got into the parking lot, it took me another hour to get to the back of the parking lot. And then that's when everybody thought, okay, the nightmare's over. I'm going to get on this bus. I'm going to go over to the terminal and everything is going to be great. No, once you got over to the terminal, the line stretched for blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks. And it took forever for that line to move. And then once you got inside the building, there were 2 sets of lines that were snaked all over the place. And it took hours again to move through the line inside the terminal. And I kept expecting to get to a point where I would suddenly see what the problem was. And I'd be like, oh, so that's why it took so long. No, never saw it. Just no idea why it took so long. The entire process in each leg of it seemed normal. It just, for some reason, took over 7 hours to get from the time I arrived at the parking lot and got into line on a street, on a side street that was 2 blocks away from the parking lot, and just inched my way car length by car length through that entire process before I could actually park, and then get in this big long line waiting to get on a shuttle bus, and then got off that bus and saw that line at the terminal, and just like, I just wanted to die.
Yep. And Jimmy has a question. Can I declare sovereign immunity with my creditors?
No, the city definitely did. And it was a shame. And of course, the security company that they hired too, which is like a big security company that operates all over the place, they didn't take any responsibility for it either. In fact, when the news stations showed up and tried to talk with the supervisor from the department, he called the police on them. So
the Bud Files have made it in. Hello, welcome in.
Good morning.
And Jimmy says, sailing out of Miami in June. That will be my first sailing from that port. Oh man, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, you are gonna love it.
It is like a well-oiled machine there. Tanisha says, oh yeah, we were driving to Port Canaveral too. Absolutely. And Jimmy says, does MSC have a bus from Miami Airport to the cruise port?
No, nobody transports you from the airport to the port.
Let's see. PK Adventure Travels. It seems to be the same, regardless if you park in a cruise terminal parking lot or an offsite or hotel. They always do park at your own risk, and you are on your own if there are issues. Yep.
Yes, of course they do, right? But this lot was specifically, the lot in Norfolk. I mean, it had on-site security, right? In fact, the security guard must have been doing rounds, because at one point he mistook the the gas for the brake and plowed through a bunch of people's cars, you
Yep.
know? So I parked at Port of Baltimore many times, right? You park right there inside a fenced in area or whatever. I have never heard of a single incident where anybody ever got their car broken into. But not only did it happen in Norfolk, later found out it happened in a sailing or two before that, as well as several sailings afterwards.
Yep. And during Booze Cruise 1.0, Eddie had an unfortunate incident where somebody got into his car too. So yeah, it's park at your own risk. You're right about that. But make sure that there's nothing worth anything in the car, and you might actually have your whole car whenever you get back. So that's a good pro tip for everybody cruising. BX Journeys, what is up, fellas?
Good morning.
I know that this is probably your first time, so let me go ahead and give you some balloons. Yep, there you go. Welcome in to the cruise and travel discussion. You know, you guys have an excellent video. We were checking out restaurants on the Prima before getting on it with these two guys right here. And you guys did an absolute excellent vlog on how they make the guacamole at tableside. These two guys made that video that I was telling y'all about where they make the guacamole right there on the table side. There is a fee for that, but that's one heck of a presentation that they provide for you right there.
I mean, listen, most Mexican restaurants make guacamole tableside.
Yeah, I know, but just on the cruise ship, that would make it more special. Okay, PK Adventure Travels. My in-laws parked at a hotel in Miami, and 20 cars were all broken into. And at first, they said they would cover it, but then corporate said no, and everyone was on their own.
I mean, I realize things do happen, yes. I'm just saying that based on all of that, and it wasn't even just the cars broken into. It was the fact that it took 7 hours to get on the damn ship, and it took 5 hours to get off the damn thing. And I would never do it ever again, not to sail to Freeport.
Right.
Just not doing it.
Canadian Family Life has made it in. Hello, welcome in.
Good morning.
Yep.
And, I see Bronx Journeys are here. BX Journeys. Nice.
Yeah, BX Journeys. And then let's see. PK Adventure Travel says, oh, I agree 100%. There should be some accountability of the site. I mean, why would I want to park there if you don't give me some sense of security of my vehicle?
Yeah.
Make sure they have those signs up. They don't have those signs up, they're responsible. They have to have a sign that says we're not responsible. Otherwise, they cover their asses.
Right, but like I said, in the case of Norfolk, I mean, why would you have on-site security there? Unless you planned on taking some level of responsibility for making sure that people's cars don't get broken into, you know.
Yep.
Together We Travel just made it in. Hello, welcome in.
Good morning.
Yep. Oh, cool. First time here and not the last. Thank you guys so much. You know what?
Yes, please. Yes.
You're going to get some hearts for that. Thank you.
And by the way, Bronx Journeys, I responded to your question on Facebook, and welcome in. Thank you very much. And if you have a live going on during the week, please let me know so I can put you on the list that I've been doing. Lately, I like to put people that come to our chat here on that list of every day on Facebook. I do a list, and so we could promote you. Okay.
Also, if you want to promote your own channel, depending on whose chat you're in, and apparently you're in Eddie's chat right now, so type in the word #ELS, and Nightbot will drop your link for you. That way, everybody in his chat can connect with you. And let's see. They said, yes, I will be there tonight at work now and watching. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
All right. So who is coming on for the remainder of the day on YouTube?
And talking about that, we got Mr. Go Live, A Moment in the War with Darian Glover. Noonish will be Mayhem Miracles. 7 p.m. tonight, Controversial Cruising with One Stern Adventures. 8 p.m. tonight, we will be Across the Waves with traveling with Tinkerbell, Alice Lugo Studios, and Cruising with Keith. Also, Antoinette Fun. Also live with Mountain Folk. And then at 9 p.m. tonight will be Mountains to Sea crew with their lives.
All right. That is a great lineup for the remainder of the day. Hopefully we'll see you guys somewhere in the chat later on, especially on Across the Waves. We get to learn about cruise ports, and
I believe they're going to talk about Barbados tonight.
Ooh, Barbados. That sounds exotic.
Not really.
PK Adventure Travel says, Scott, your feelings are not clear on Norfolk Port. I was thinking to take a cruise from there. Would you recommend the port? Ha ha ha. No, I get it. Your vlog showed how bad it was. Absolutely. Oh my God.
I would recommend visiting the naval museum next to the port called Nauticus and touring the USS Missouri that is docked there or whatever. I would recommend that. I would not recommend getting on a cruise ship down there. Certainly not for the itinerary that they offer.
Well, hang on. Let me look up BX Journey's thing here. So I can go ahead and drop their link. I don't know if everybody gets it whenever I drop it, but that might be a good way to unify the links here.
I mean, it's just like when I dropped PKs in your guys' chats the other day, it's just going to come up. It's not going to come up the same way it does when they drop it.
I'm dropping it in JNS and Cruising is Fun anytime.
Yeah, it's not going to come up like through Nightbot, right? It just comes up like a post from you, which is fine. It just doesn't show up the same way. So,
wait a minute. Elizabeth just made it in. Hello, welcome in.
No, not possible. She knows that.
Yeah, she says, I bet I could talk him into Norfolk.
No, she knows that. She knows she could not ever do that.
Yep. Okay. And BX Journey says, have you guys sailed out of La Romana before? Jay is sailing solo on the NCL Sky on the 29th of April.
So out of La Romana?
No.
Yeah, I think I think NCL is sailing directly from there. If you remember, there was a news story just not long ago, a few weeks ago maybe or something, where there were 3 people who were on a cruise that docked at Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and then got off the ship and disappeared. And they were, I think they were citizens of Colombia or something like that, or they were citizens from some other place. But they had actually embarked on that ship in La Romana. So, and then when that ship got to BVI, they just got off like, they were going to visit the port and then just never showed up. Nobody ever found them. Nobody ever discovered what happened to them. They just disappeared.
Tanisha's got a message for you here in the chat. It says, Scott, don't underestimate the power of a woman. Elizabeth got that top card you don't know about. All of us women have that one card.
No, listen, you are right about that. But Norfolk is, Jeremy can attest to this, right? There is a process in which men can do this thing called putting your foot down. And that would have to be one of those moments for me when it comes to the port of Norfolk.
All right, man. Well, okay. So moving on, BX Journey says, yes, it's an island hopping cruise. He catches it in the middle of a sailing. We'll be blogging the experience for sure. And we'll be looking forward to seeing all of that footage. We can't wait. And yeah, everybody hook up with BX Journeys and stay tuned because they got some stuff coming out, sounds like. And I know Scott's got some stuff coming out too, just like Eddie. Hey, Eddie's getting social. I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement here. Eddie Lugo Studios is not only on TikTok, but he has just now joined the Instagram community. And for that, you get, some laser lights or something. Hang on, let's see. So we get the lasers working here. Yeah, there we go. Eddie getting modernized and social.
Okay, so for those Star Wars fans or you remember that scene where like Chewbacca and Princess Leia were being like led out to led out to like the Empire ship or whatever, and Luke shows up and Princess Leia is like hollering at him, it's a trap, and then she grabs a hold of the door jamb and she pulls herself back in so she can holler one more time, no, get out of here, it's a trap. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how Eddie behaved when we suggested to him that he be on 2 additional platforms, yes, TikTok and Instagram.
Yep.
He would not do it. In fact, he was ignoring me at one point in time because he just, talk to the hand wasn't a strong enough message. Tell me to shut up about it already. But as fate would have it, he reluctantly kicked and screamed his way onto both platforms, and now he seems to love it.
Well, I think Tanisha's trying to do the same thing with you and your loathe for Norfolk here. It says, I understand you loathe Norfolk and putting the foot down, but don't underestimate her power. We're born with it. It's powerful. Ship to Shore Cruise News. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Stuart.
And have a good day. Tanisha just had to drop the mic on that one. I like it. Love it, love it, love it. Ooh, Snap House of X Entertainment Inc. has made it in. What's up, fellas? Yep. Alrighty, guys. Well, I believe with that, we will go ahead and close out today's show. Thank you guys so much for coming in and for your continued support for the show. And before you leave, go ahead and drop your link. That way everybody can connect with you.
And get out of Cloud City.
What happened?
Get out of Cloud City.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So y'all take care of each other out there. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And never, ever forget, we love you and good morning.
Bye.